All right, ladies and gentlemen, the first thing that you should be downloading today is what's called Final Draft Rubric. Final Draft Rubric. We will talk about what this looks like in just a minute and what we're going to do with it. The document that you need, Final Draft Rubric, looks like... It looks like this. It is multicolored. We'll talk about what to do with that in just a little bit. Leave it downloaded in your Notability for right now. The second thing that you need to do is you need to go to look for the document that is called Email for Symposium. You should have made your own. Email for Symposium. We have already used this twice. We did the first one. We did the second one. Now, we are skipping this one right here. We are going to the one that says April 10th to 11th. We will. Yeah, so you're looking for the one that says April 10th or 11th. You should have your own document. You cannot write on mine. So if you are writing on mine and you see that yours is coming up here, find yours. So April 10th or 11th.
On Notability?
It is not a Notability, it is a Google Doc. This is what you're going to get to. When you get here, sit and wait, because I'm going to tell you guys all at the same time what we're doing. Make sure you've scrolled down to the one that says April 10th and 11th. All right, so today what we're going to do with this is we have already written 2 emails. I'm going to wait for your attention again. We have already written 2 emails. We did one as a practice and one as I took as a grade, which was structured for you more. This one is less structured because you've already seen the 2 examples. Now it is time to create the structure yourself. So the first thing that you should notice is that you have a subject line. What is it?
Thank you again.
Thank you again. The first part is write a salutation or a greeting. What does that look like when you write a letter? Whether it's an email or a hand? Dear somebody. So you're going to write, dear, I've given you a hint about punctuation. What is
a comma after it?
Okay, so you're saying, mention the guest's name, and then put a comma. Dear Ale, comma. Do you also notice that there's a space here? That means you start a new paragraph and skip that line. The next part is all one paragraph together. This one says you have to thank them for taking time to visit your class. How can you say that?
Thank you for taking time of your day
To visit my class. It's very simple, but you have to come up with that word. Put that down for me. Thanks. This one says, tell something that you know they probably gave up. Whether your parents gave up gas money to drive here, or volunteering time, or maybe they were at work. Even if you say, my dad doesn't do anything, he was just at home. He gave up his free time at home. So you get to say what they were giving up. The last part of this right here has 4 options. It's because you're going to try to use a contrast transition statement, such as, even though you gave up your lunch for me, I learned so much, so I thank you. Or, although you had to change your whole day, it was helpful to me because. And here are some of the examples. Something that you're going to change in your essay. Helpful to me because I learned that. Helpful to me because I will change. You get to choose. Something that you change or learned as a result or why it was beneficial. But I want you to practice using one of our transition statements, the contrasts. Then you notice again that you skip a line for a new paragraph. Then it says thank them again. Skip a line. Again, we are in 1, 2, 3. We're now in the 4th section. Let your guests know that you are copying your teacher. How can you say that?
I'm copying my teacher.
Just for you to know.
Yes. So just so that you know, I am copying my teacher, or CCing. Please explain why you are copying me. Why do you think I want you to copy me?
Because you're intelligent.
So she knows what I'm doing. So what else?
So you know we actually did the
So
assignment.
so my teacher knows I did the assignment.
Ask me forward.
So that I can check your formality.
That we're not mean.
That I can check your grammar, your punctuations, I can give you a grade. There's all kinds of things that you can put about me checking it. Notice again that you have a new line for a new paragraph. Then it says write a closing to the email, and again, use a comma after it. What does a closing to an email look like? That's a good one. What's another one you've seen? Sincerely, your child.
Thanks for your
Favorite
time.
child.
Thanks for your time.
Thanks for your time. You can also use regards.
Thanks.
And then please note, in a formal email, you should use your first and last name. I know that your parents know your last name. At least I hope they do.
In that case.
I'd like for you to practice formality and using it. Questions?
Like in my last two emails, I signed off sincerely your favorite child. Would I get points off for that?
If you didn't get an email from me, then you saying so, then you did not.
Okay.
So I'd like for you guys to think about this format. If you need to check the ones that we did earlier that were more structured for you to help you, you can. I am not going to check these. My job is not to make sure everything you turn in is 100%. Whose job is that?
Power.
Yeah, you check those things. Not, can you check it before I turn it in? No, you can turn it in. This is our third time doing this. I want you to practice the habit of checking yourself on the board, checking yourself above, thinking about what you need to do before you send. When you are ready, you can send. Question?
Yes, so we need to put our first and last name. We can't put like.
You can put your favorite child, comma, and your
but
full
we
name.
need to.
Beth Yates.
We need to put our name.
You need to put your first and last name because that's a formal usage. Yes.
Is this school?
It is graded. Just like your last one was, but this one's a different structure. Last one had more fill-in, this one has more of you creating it, right?
What if you were not here on Friday?
If you were not here on Friday, I will talk to you individually. What that's gonna look like is I still need to have a check that you can do the structure. You will
But you're not
email it
gonna
to me specifically.
But you're not gonna send it to your parents.
Correct.
Okay.
And you will fill in these as though I was your person. Because I still need to check that you can do the structure.
Do I send it to you?
Yes. Well, wait, who else came in your group? Anybody else? No teacher came?
No,
Just me. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Here we go. All right, the document that you should have open now is the one that has this rubric on it, final draft rubric. Or maybe it's called checklist, but I think it's called final draft rubric for you. What I'd like to talk to you guys about now is color coding your final draft. Some of you guys have already mentioned this. I did change the date. Instead of Tuesday, it is due Wednesday. That means it's due at 8 a.m. You will not need to submit it anywhere. It'll be in your Google Docs, but do not edit it after 8 a.m. or it is late. So I will grade this version of it. So what I'd like for you guys to do now is think about color coding so that I know that you know where things are.
That we know.
Yeah, I know that you know that okay? We need to make sure that we have these color coded. When I talk about colored text versus highlighting, what's the difference between the two? What does highlighting look like? Kennedy.
It has like a background.
It has a what?
It has like a back to it.
Yeah, well it's like a stripe, right?
Yeah, it's not
Has a
that
stripe in the
text.
background or on top of it, and you have black text. Another way of color coding is just to use colored text this way.
But not with yellow. It doesn't work.
That's
with yellow.
why I have both on here, okay? So you're right, it doesn't. So I'm going to start up here at the very top. When we think about our essay, actually go ahead and open your essay in,
The little
so
sidebar.
you can click between the two, yeah, in Google Docs.
Oh my God.
When you think about your essay, your lead was part of your intro paragraph. Your intro paragraph has 3 pieces to it. What are they? What's the very first thing in your introduction paragraph? That's in there, but it's not your first one. That's thesis is in there, but it's not your first one. Your hook or your lead goes up here. Then I heard somebody say that we have the
Background info.
background info, and then what comes?
Our thesis.
Your thesis. So I'm going to ask you to color these different ways. Your lead is going to be blue text. Notice that it says you also need to label the strategy. How many of you guys used, for example, the question strategy? Anybody? Okay. You would put in parentheses, question. If you don't remember which strategy you used, you have an introductions. It's called Introductions in Argument Writing that you had already planned this on.
Wait, do we put this in like?
It's going to go directly in your Google Doc in a minute, but not yet. Would you set that down for me, please? The background information is going to remain black. The thesis, what color does it say it needs to be?
Green.
Not there, not yet.
Red.
Red.
Right here, thesis. You're just, yeah, too far down. So, the blue for your lead, the red for your thesis. Am I asking you to use colored text, or am I asking you to highlight? Which one? Text. Do not highlight. Follow the directions as it says. In fact, part of these directions are being scored at the very bottom. I can't scroll down because it'll move everything, but you can. At the very bottom where it says presentation of your essay. How does your title look? How does your heading look? How does your color coding look? All of those things are part of your final score. So right now you're going to be doing the lead in blue, and you also have to label the strategy. And then you're going to be doing your thesis in red. They're different colors in the same intro paragraph. I'm going to give you a minute to do that. All right, the next piece that we're going to be looking at is the conclusions part. So we're going to skip down to from transitions because there's nothing on here to color code. Just because there's nothing to color code, though, doesn't mean you shouldn't look at your score guide, right?
That's true.
That's true.
Yeah.
So the next part is ending or conclusions. So, ending or conclusions asks you to do something in what color?
Green.
Green. So as you do this green, we need to think about what it says. It also asks you to label. Think about this. Your conclusion paragraph had two pieces. Part A was your restate your thesis, right?
Yeah.
You already did that. Part B was a strategy. And you had 3 different strategies on how to end it. What were some of these options? Give me one.
Alternative.
Alternatives. How many of you guys did the alternative somewhere? Okay. What are some other ones?
Significance.
Significance. How many of you guys did significance? And what was the last one?
Steps.
Steps. Steps to start this process.
Oh,
Baby
yeah, I
steps
did
to
that.
start this process. How many of you guys did that? I saw some of you raise your hand multiple times. That's great. What this is asking you to do is leave your thesis black because it doesn't say anything about this portion. It's asking you to look at the strategy for conclusion. And it's asking you to think about what you used. This is the part that is green. So in your conclusion, I should see a black part, which is your restate, and I should see a green part, which is one of these strategies or more. It also says you need to label. If you have more than one of these strategies, after each one, just put in parentheses what it is. How many of you do have more than one? That's fine. Multiple ones are okay. So I'm going to give you guys a minute or two to do this now. I should see your conclusion in front of you, and you should be making certain parts of it green and labeling. So your next part here is elaboration, and I've made it really big because there's 3 parts on it. If you would please zoom in on this so we can talk about it. The one that's called elaboration.
Elaboration.
So there are 3 different parts on this one that you need to be coloring. Scroll down to the one that says elaboration and zoom in on it. It looks just like this. The first part is your counter argument. It's in pink. Notice that it's colored text, not highlight. How many counter arguments do you have?
2.
Where are they?
In your body paragraph.
In each body paragraph. Some of you have more than 2 body paragraphs. Anybody in this class have more than 2 body paragraphs? If you do, you'll have another one. So you have counter arguments in pink text. Check each body paragraph. Then your next part is highlighting, and notice that it's not colored text anymore, it's black. It's just got a highlight. You have evidence. In each body paragraph, how many pieces of evidence do you have?
like
In each body paragraph, how many pieces of evidence are there?
2.
2. Evidence analysis. Evidence analysis. So you have 2 pieces that need to be yellow and 2 pieces that need to be orange. These 2 are highlighted.
But they are also called.
So check body paragraph 1 for these 3. Then check body paragraph 2 for these 3.
And the yellow and orange have to be highlighted?
Yes.
No
because-
text.
Correct. I mean, you think about how hard yellow is to see if you just make yellow letters, right? So this tells me that you know where it is, but it stands out to me differently.
Oh, okay.
Okay? So these 2 are highlighted this way. This one is pink text like all the rest of them have been. I'm going to give you a few minutes to do this one, yeah?
do we only highlight what's in quotations in yellow, but also like an article by.
For this one, I would suggest that you start with where the quotation part comes. It's not wrong if you do the whole part, but I'm going to have you weigh the 2 in a minute, and so it's probably better that way. Alvaro? Come see you? Okay, I'll come to you. All right, the last part that we need to do is below this colored document. Please scroll down below this colored document. Do you see it?
Yeah. Whoa.
All right.
That's right.
I need for me to get through this, and then I can answer questions about it afterwards. So I need you to focus and follow and hold your questions. Would you hold that still, please? Thank you. I first need you to look at this top part right here, and I'd like for you to circle it and label it the word heading. This is your heading when we talk about headings. This will go above your essay. Have you ever used the tool to highlight something, the button that clicks highlight? Raise your hand if you use that. Okay, if you don't know where it is, I can show it to you, but please stay after class. Up in the same corner, there is a bullet or a button that looks like this. Right? This is the right justified.
Yeah.
That's the button you need to click for this. Do not space, do not tab, do not move your margins. It will mess things up and it will be wrong. So that you need to make sure that you put it right here using this tool. If you don't know that tool, I would be happy to show you that in a few minutes, but you need to make yourself a little note to ask me. The next part you need to look at is this. This is your title. Please label it title. It should be centered in here. That's the little button that looks like
That.
yeah, where everything's in the middle. Notice this word, not both. Please circle, highlight, or star it.
What do you
Please circle, highlight, or star the 2 words that say not both.
What do you mean?
Your title should be bolded or but
Not both.
you choose. It should also be the same size font, size
12.
12. Notice there is only 1 empty space here, not 5, before your essay starts. In addition, your essay can be single or double spaced. It does not matter to me. You choose. What I need you to highlight, circle, or star next is where it says size 12 font, size 12 font, Cambria or Times New Roman. These are your font choices. There's nothing else, but you choose these.
Cambria.
Doesn't matter. I also want to talk to you guys about indentation or indenting. There are 2 styles. This way is acceptable. I'm going to show you both really quickly. The way it's been done for many, many years is that you have an essay with multiple paragraphs, and the indenting looks like this. Raise your hand if you've done that before. Good. There's no space between the paragraphs, right? Just like this, no extra space. The new way, because mobile devices do not indent, is to have everything start together, but you skip 1. How many?
1.
Line between your paragraphs with no indentation. It doesn't matter to me if you choose this option or this option, but you cannot mix them. Do not indent and skip a line. How many of you prefer to do this one? Indenting with no line skipped. Great. How many of you prefer to do this one? No indenting, but you skip a line. Hands up. You choose, but pick one style. So I'm gonna give you guys a couple of minutes until the bell rings, and then if the bell rings, you need to finish it at home. To work on your heading, your title, your font size and font, and your indentations.
Wait, so for the heading,
The bell's gonna
it's
ring
we
right
put
now.
April 14th, or is there another?
That's it, I just happened to write that date, it's the actual date is the 12th.
So this